Hey guys, don't forget we do lives every Wednesday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Check what day it is. Bang! Needs knives. I'm Jared. My lovely wife Carrot is relaxing, and today I'm going to talk about my most used sharpening stone out of all my stones. Now I have a ton of stones, all different kinds of stones. That was the Ferrum Forge Mini Archbishop. Now, but even though I have a ton of stones and I use them all, for different steels, different blade shapes, so on and so forth, my most used one is this little guy right here. Let me explain. And I'm going to show a couple more here in a second. This is a Lansky Stone. It's considered the ultra fine. Then there's also this one right here, which is considered the sapphire. This is a little bit harder or finer than this one, but they're very, very similar. Now, they're for the polishing when you have a Lansky system, which is a fixed angled system. You have the system and it has a rod that goes right here, and you use it for a fixed angled system. But they're not expensive, but they are so useful. So I might sharpen my knife, say let's just say a number, let's say once a month, right? But in that month I'll hone it 3 times. So when I come home from work or from using my knife or whatever, I'll come home and I'll give it 1, 2, 3, 4 swipes, and then hit it on the strap, or however much it takes. Like these I have to hone, so let's do it really quick while we're talking. Now I personally use soap and water on mine. You can use honing oil, but and if you do use honing oil, it's no big deal. You can switch to soap and water, unlike an aluminum oxide stone or something. Now, ceramic stones are actually made from, you heard that bite right there? It's because it had a little bit of wear. Are actually made, I lost track. Ceramic stones are actually made from aluminum oxide. I didn't know that till I learned that from actually Mike Emler. There's a lot of things made out of aluminum oxide, including ceramic stones. Now, I would hit this as many times as it takes until I don't feel that little bit of resistance I just felt right there. And I try to lay it nice and flat, and I slide it across. Now, there we go. And then once it's glassy smooth, it's good. Now I would just go and strop it, and now it's back to true and back to sharp. Now the reason why I use this so much is because I can use it so many times before I have to do a full-blown sharpening again. Now the time when I'm going to have to do a full-blown sharpening again is when there's a chip. Or, if I've honed it so many times that yeah, it's basically wore out. Now, you can drop down like 1 stone from this to, say, a little bit lower grit and then hone and then go to this. But usually, for the most part, just a couple swipes on this brings an edge right back up. But, I might drop it down maybe to a hard Arkansas or a translucent or something like that, then move to this if it's really bad, but I don't want to do a full-blown sharpening. But only if it's only going to take a couple swipes. Now, these aren't very expensive. They're like $12 or something like that for these. But I use these every day. Every day I use these constantly. And then also I can use them, say, after I'm done sharpening, if I want to polish an edge. I can use these even on big knives, like fixed blades that are, this is 5-inch and it has a recurve. So I can also do the recurve without a problem. I'm trying to do it through the camera. So these are super duper useful. Yes, nice. Now, there's also another stone I have sitting over here. This is called the ruby. Now, these are extremely, extremely cheap. You can get these for a couple bucks. I was really doubting them at first. Like, when I ordered one, I kind of just did it on a whim. And you can use the soap and water, honing oil, probably even just water on these. But they have rubies embedded. I have another one right here embedded inside them. And it's kind of, you can see them sparkling. It's kind of like a ceramic with rubies, or kind of like a kind of like the CBN stones, but harder. They don't have that cushion. Like, this is definitely a little bit harder, at least it feels like it, than the CBN. And I will take another stone and scratch the surface of these stones, not like this, but like an aluminum oxide stone, when they start getting clogged, just like I do with the CBN stones, like the Veneve stones. But these are only a few bucks, and they're not going to sharpen. I mean, don't get me wrong, they have more bite than you would think. They definitely have more bite than this. So what they can do is they can polish your edge, or you can hone with them. Or you can, like, say if you're done sharpening and you just want to get a nice polished edge on there with some bite, that is the beauty of this. Kind of like a Veneve diamond infused stone. This will kind of do the same thing. You can get a nice polish with a good bite to the edge because of the rubies. Now, I'm not saying it'll work great on every steel out there, but every steel I've thrown at it so far, it's worked great. I originally thought that it was only going to be good on maybe some kitchen knives or something, but I've used them on M390. And they worked great. And I was surprised to see how fast it bit. How much it bit into the steel and how reactive it was. But I don't use them nowhere near. See, like, that's back to true now. They had a nick right here. And this is the new Artisan Sea Snake by Mike Emler. He was pounding little copper rods, and look at that. That nick that he put in there, gone. It's gone. I mean, that's why I think, that's what I've heard, that this steel is why it's so good, because it can hone back so fast. Now, I will strap it here in a second, but these little stones are absolutely fantastic. I recommend them highly. They are little. Yeah, they're little, but recurves, any size knife, you can just use it. You just put it in your hand like this. You got the little grips. Put it in your hand and go to town. And like this has a little bit of a recurve. And you don't have to be like an expert angle holder. You just make sure it's at an angle, no pressure, drag it across the stone. The nicks that are in the blade are going to straighten out, basically. So like in a blade, say that's like this, you're going to get a nick. So basically when you're rubbing the edge, like you see me just do right here, you're taking that little piece, that nick that's like this, and straightening it back out. Or maybe a couple nicks that are like that, straightening it back out. So you don't have to be perfect. You just put the blade at an angle and rub the edge. And you can make your edge last so long. Even a factory edge. I've got some factory edge. This is a factory edge right here. And so was this factory edge. This is a factory edge. So to take away from sharpening, right? If you don't want to put a new edge on your knife, but you want to use your knife, well, there you go. And then you can do this for a long time before you're going to need to sharpen. I mean, obviously, depending on how hard you are on your knives, but you'd be amazed with what these little stones right here can do. I mean, they will keep a knife going for so long. Coupled with a strap, if something ever happened to these, I would instantly buy new ones right away. I'd have to, because I mean, it's almost like I need them. I mean, I use them so often, and they're so versatile too. Like, say if I'm gonna go to work, I could toss this in a backpack. I could toss it in like just like a little whatever, a case, or put it in anything, and then toss it in my bag, go to work, and then say halfway through the day, lunchtime hits, hit it on the hone really quick, bang, I'm back to work. Fresh new edge. My edge is great. Now I feel a tiny little nick right there that's not coming out. Everything else has came out so far. We're going to do a couple more passes and see if we can get it to come out. There it goes. You can actually feel it when it hits that spot. Right there. See how you see like the little jerk of the blade? This side is not so much. So now I know that it's on this side. There it goes. Bam. You still want to hit both sides basically the exact same amount of times. But I can't express this enough how amazing these little stones are and how long they will keep a factory or the edge you put on. It's so tiny right now. I can barely feel it. Barely feel it. I'm just going to hit it a couple more times, and you see how fast this is working. One. And I'm just guessing the angle. I'm basically just putting it at an angle, making sure the edge rubs the stone. I don't want to go up too high with my angle, but just sit it at a nice angle and hit the edge. Because like I said, all you're trying to do is straighten the edge out. It's, you do not have to hold a perfect angle, or, I mean, obviously the better you hold an angle, the better it is, but it's not like you're going to do a bunch of damage like if this was a diamond stone or something. You're not changing the grit at all. There it goes. It's gone. See, I mean, look how fast that was in all reality. And I used this thing to cut up a bunch of cardboard. And now we're back to a even sharper factory edge. Perfect. So I definitely advocate for these stones. And like I said, you can polish on them, especially if you have both of them. And then I also use them for polishing washers. I use them for sometimes like little parts if I need to polish the surface really quick. If it's a flat surface, works really well. It just works good for so many little tiny things. I even use it like sometimes if there's a little damage to something, like a screw or something, I can take it and, just put it up to it and give it a couple little smacks with it and knock it down, make it nice and smooth. But like I said, if you're looking for a polish, then this one will just do it by itself, but both of them gives you an absolute mirror if you're already to a high grit. Like if you're coming off an Arkansas, a hard Arkansas stone, this will give you a mirror polish. If you're coming off of a translucent Arkansas, it'll give you a very good mirror polish. So it depends on what you're looking for, but my favorite thing to use them for is honing. But like I said, I've used them for polishing surfaces on washers. I've used them for polishing surface on parts and stuff like that. I've used them for so many little details, and I use them more than any other stone. If I can find some of these on Amazon, I will link them below. I should be able to find some of these. I'll try to link a good one below. This side I do not like. I'll just say that right off the bat. It's kind of like a piece of granite or something. I don't know what the hell it is. This side's great, but and then this one is fit for a fixed angled system. For sharpening on a fixed angle system. So, yeah, I'll try to link these below if I can find them. Now, I might spend more time on other stones. I don't spend as much time on them, but I use them more often. So, there you guys go. The Lansky. Let's look at it again. This is the Lansky ultra fine stone, and this is the sapphire. There you guys go. And I know it says 1,000 on there, but it's definitely over 1,000 grit. This is far beyond. I mean, I guess this is about 2,000, 1,500 to 2,000, and this is probably 2,000 to 3,000. These are supposed to be 3,000 grit. These definitely have a little more bite, because these don't really have bite. These are basically just for polishing. These actually have a little bit of bite. So, yeah. But it gives you a mirror polish. 3,000 grit. There you guys go. Love you guys. Peace.